I find myself very often Googling, literally I'll Google SLPA CEUs. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Karina and I am an SLPA who shares speech, my family, and lifestyle here on YouTube. Today I'm talking to you all about CEUs. This is something I find myself frequently Googling because to this day I don't really get it. I feel like it changes even though it really doesn't. I feel like it's just more information that I'm having to look up pretty often, and even though I've been an SLPA for a while, I am still looking this stuff up. So why not make an entire video and share with you all with what are CEUs. If you are here, you probably already know what CEUs are, but if you do not, if you are a professional and just kind of want to look up how to renew your license, you do need CEUs. Now what those are is they stand for continuing education units. Think of any professionals that you work with. A lot of times that may be an SLP, that may be an OT. It includes the assistants, so SLPAs, OTAs, maybe an RN. A lot of times you need continuing education hours or classes every so often that you're renewing your license. So for an SLPA in Texas, this is every 2 years. And when you are going to apply to renew your license, it will let you know, or ask you actually, it will ask you, have you met all of the requirements? They require you to get these continuing education units or hours because they want you to really just stay up to date with like the latest trends, the latest research. It wouldn't make sense if I get my license in 2015 and then I don't have to renew it again ever, right? They want you to renew it pretty often because again, they want you to get this continuing education so that you're aware of new things going on, things that are happening in 2020 versus what weren't happening in 2015. Kind of want everyone on the same page. I'm focusing on SLPAs and their necessities for this video because I am an SLPA myself. I cannot tell you what you may need as an SLP. I'm kind of generalizing this video though because I want you all to take away where you can go to get CEUs and how you can go about finding these continuing education hours. For SLPAs in Texas, this is based off of the website itself. You do need 2.0 continuing education units with 0.2 in ethics. 0.1 CEU will equal 1 hour. So if you're needing 2.0, that's a total of 20 hours. If you're needing 0.2 in ethics, that's a total of 2 hours that you need in ethics. Therefore, you do need 20 CEUs, and 2 of those have to be in ethics. So how do you go about submitting these things, right? Like, how do you keep track of this? Where do you go to turn this in? Do I have to mail it? You can do it all online, which is something I highly recommend. I have never had to mail anything out. When you're actually renewing your license on this exact website for your state, again, I'm talking about Texas here, when you're going to renew it, it actually asks you in the application process if you have already completed all of the requirements, and it will specify, have you completed the 2.0 CEUs with 2 in ethics. It'll also ask you after this point if you want to upload any documents. This is the part that I highly recommend you do. You do not need to essentially, but if you are chosen to be audited in the future at any point, they expect you to have documentation that you have completed these CEUs. So for my record, I just think it's easier to upload it at this point. That way it's in the system if absolutely needed, and if something were to happen to my laptop or something, it's in the system at this point. I also highly recommend you save all of your PDFs, all of your certificates, anything that you get to document that you've gotten a CEU of any sort. I recommend you keep it on your laptop or maybe a Google Drive where you can kind of transfer it from one place to the next, because that's going to be something that you want to keep for at least 3 years. This is also something that is specified on the website because if in the future you are chosen once again to be audited, they expect you to have these documents. So you'll go into this website as you're renewing your license. In the application, again, you're going to upload any documents that you might have. A lot of them for me might be PDFs, and that's where I go to upload any of my certificates from anywhere that I have earned CEUs. Another great option for documentation of any sort is actually the TISHA website. If you go on, you don't even have to be a member, you don't have to pay anything. It's completely free to kind of register your own courses. So this is really helpful if, for example, you take a course somewhere and they don't give you a certificate, or if it's a webinar and for whatever reason you don't have the certificate with you, but you have the name of the course written down and you have the date that you completed it. Maybe you have the person who held this webinar or this course, and you have all that good information. This is a good place to go, the TISHA website, and they have like a self-registry or place where you can put in your own courses. You have to have all this information though, you do. And you also need what's called a course code. Typically at the end of every course that you take, whether it's online or in person, whatever, they're going to give you a course code. And this is to basically make sure that you completed the entire course, right? They're not going to give you the course at the beginning of it and then have you just walk away. No, it's kind of like your incentive. I'll try and link down below in the description box the TISHA link for these self-reported type of courses, because I find it super helpful. If you have all this information, the title, the course date, maybe the day you completed it, and the course code, for sure those things, you are able to get an entire file. It's typically in PDF, and you are able to see all of the things that you have completed, maybe in the past 2 years, maybe in the past month, and then it'll tell you at the very bottom, you know, by Tisha, or this is for Miss Karina, and it has all of the hours there for you, so you're not having to go back and forth between old certificates, current certificates. It's kind of all in one place for you. So that's something that you can do as well. Now, where do I get all of these CEUs? This is something, again, I Google every single time that it comes down to renewing my license, because I often want a place where I can find everything at once. I don't want to have to hop from one website to the next. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't want to have to keep track of some certificates I got from here, I saved on this date, and then these I have to remember where I placed my old certificates and put them on there. It's just a lot. I like to do it all in one place. I find myself very often Googling, literally I'll Google SLPA CEUs for free, SLPA CEUs in ethics, SLPA CEUs, anything, so that I can get courses that are relevant to me and courses that I can get credit for. Back to our original question of where do you get all of this information, the course code, course name, the dates that it was given, the provider, the person who taught this course. All of this is going to depend on the site that you use to get your CEUs. I'm going to tell you 4 different ways to get your CEUs. So number 1, there is a lot of websites, like large sort of websites that host a whole lot of videos for you. Here is where you can find ethics, you can find stuff on language, you can find stuff on articulation, AAC, on autism maybe. There's so many things, and that's why these websites are so handy, because again, you find it all in one place. These are typically websites that run off of memberships, so you're paying one time essentially, and you're able to access this forever, for the entire year. So this is again super handy if you want to go on there, click on a video, and then come back to it maybe in a month. Or maybe you don't have time in a month. Maybe you only have time in the winter during the break, and that's when you want to complete all of your continuing education, and maybe that's a good time for you to do it. But I think these are super handy. Again, if you're wanting to be specific on the type of videos that you want to watch, maybe for SLPAs, for example, in the beginning I did mention you need 2 hours in ethics. So that's not something that's offered on every single website. It's something you have to purposely come across or purposely be on the lookout for and find 2 hours in ethics so that it does count for your license renewal. This is why I have also partnered with MEDBRIDGE for this video, to share with you guys that this is actually a platform that they have over 1,500 courses where you can go on and find everything that you need by their category. They have over 600 courses that can be registered with ASHA. So if you're an ASHA member, you can easily just transfer it over and it'll count for your continuing education units. They have stuff from dysphagia, childhood intervention, they have language disorders, they have so much on their website. Because this is a large website with so many courses, like I mentioned earlier, it is based on a membership. So they have two different ones, one where it's kind of all SLP courses, and with my code Karina Curls you can get $150 off. It is the lowest that you can be paying for this membership to access all of this material. Once again, this is a place, kind of like a one-stop shop to get all of your CEUs in one place. If again you're someone who doesn't really have much time throughout the year, maybe if you're someone who doesn't want to be going back and forth between all of your old papers and this papers, maybe you're someone who has it all organized. I've never been that person, and I try to keep track of it in my planner. At the very end, I'll go through the pages and I'll write down all of the dates that I did them, or I'll even put like sticky notes in my laptop that I have it handy. But every time it comes to renewing my license, I'm having trouble, or I'm retaking courses that I didn't keep track of. So if you're using MEDBRIDGE, it's kind of all in one system. So I highly recommend y'all check it out. Once again, my code is Karina Curls, and I will link that in my description box below. Aside from MEDBRIDGE, there's also ASHA memberships, TISHA memberships, where you can log on, and if you're a member, you have access to different courses, and you can look it up, you know, ethics course for SLPAs. I want to learn something about language or articulation, whatever it is, your ASHA membership will have that included, and you can find that all on their website. Another way you can go about this is by attending conferences, whether that's in person or online. One that I have used in the past is called Bright Ideas, and it's Bright like BRIQ. HT Ideas, and they have a conference every summer, I believe. I've done this twice now, and you kind of log on, you have to make an account, and you're able to access these courses during a set date, like a start date and an end date, you know what I mean? So it does expire by a certain time. So if you're someone who's going to very much be active in the summertime, or keep track of it, or maybe you start maybe you start work early or something along those lines where you can access this in the summer, I would recommend that as well. But keep in mind, if you're going to conferences in person, you also have a short window to enter that for your courses. Let's say you're gonna go, like I mentioned earlier, on the TISHA website, and you're going to report these courses that you have already completed. So it's gonna ask you, did you attend this blank conference? And let's say you did. Maybe I've already went in February, and I am just now getting to put this online and register for these courses in August. Likely going to tell me that these courses for the conference has already expired. Like you missed the deadline basically to register for these courses and get credit for them. So be aware of those things, make a note of these deadlines, because it's something you don't want to miss. It's something you don't want to have to be retaking and stuff. The last way you can go about this, and I also highly recommend, is through your employer, girl. And for you all is to go with your employer and find out if you can get any CEUs that way. I know working at a school district, they do host from time to time some sort of, not webinars, what are they called? You know, I have to attend a meeting basically, and it's an entire course for maybe 2-3 hours, and then at the end we get the course code, and it's my responsibility to keep track of that and print it and save it, register all online. But my district does offer that for SLPs and SLPAs. I do know when I worked in early intervention, I believe I had like one meeting like that to attend throughout the year, and it wasn't something that was frequently offered. In the school setting, however, I find that it's offered, but it's not something I can always attend, once again, because it would be time I have to take out of work. Yes, it might be a webinar, yes, it might be in person, it might be very convenient for me, but if it's usually during the work day, and I'm usually holding speech sessions. So unless someone can take my place, or unless I have a lot of space to make this day up, then, you know, I'm probably not gonna sign up. But that's a way to go about it if you don't want to pay, and if you know you're going to be on top of all of your continuing education units. I would recommend you do this route. I hope you took something away from this video. If you did, please make sure to give my video a like and subscribe to my channel as well. It'll mean so much to me. I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.